Welcome, everyone. My name is Maria Rodriguez. I work for the outreach unit at the New York State Higher Education Services Corporation. So I want to welcome everyone. And, this event is basically to help you navigate some of the different programs that are available for you guys. But the agency that I represent is basically the State College Financial Aid Agency. We administer the Tuition Assistance Program, or TAP, among other programs to help students have access and pay for post-secondary education. So we currently administer over 27 programs. So I will encourage you guys to visit the website so that you can see, in addition to the, program to help veterans and their family, so you can see if you're interested in applying for any of those other programs that we administer. And today we are discussing financial aid opportunity for veteran and their dependent. And as we celebrate National Military Appreciation Month, this is the perfect time to honor and thank those who serve our country. And it's really an honor to be addressing this topic tonight. So New York State veterans, active duty service member, or their immediate family member may be eligible for a range of higher education benefit to help them cover the cost of attending college. And keep in mind that this military and veteran education benefit may not cover everything. So I will encourage you to apply for all the federal and state aid that you qualify, either by completing FAFSA and TAP, as well as many other programs that you might qualify for. And I'm excited to welcome my special guest who will be talk to us about both federal and state program. So thank you all for joining us. And now I would like to invite my special guest to introduce herself and to share a little bit of the organization that she represents.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tiana Sloan, and I'm the coordinator for Military and Veterans Services at the University of Mount St. Vincent in the Bronx. At the Mount, we're dedicated to educating the whole person and giving our students, especially our veterans and military-connected students, the support, guidance, and opportunities they need to succeed. In addition, I serve as co-chair of the James J. Peters Student Veterans Coalition, a volunteer network of colleges in the Bronx and surrounding areas working together to support military-affiliated students. And I'm the president of American Legion Auxiliary Unit 979 in Eastchester, where we support veterans, military families, and youth leadership. And thank you for having me today.
No, thank you. Thank you for being here. And I want to thank everyone as we dive into the discussion. If anyone has any question, please feel free to type them in the Q&A session and we will address them at the end. So thank you, and let's get started. So Diana, my first question is about federal financial aid. Could you provide an overview of the main federal financial aid program available for veteran and their family? And is the FAFSA required for them to apply for those programs?
Sure. At the federal level, there's several benefits available, and I'm just going to touch on them briefly, but know that there's a lot more information, so it's worth looking into. The most popular one is Chapter 33, the post 9/11 GI Bill. And that you have to qualify if you're a veteran. I know there was a question earlier about if you're currently serving. This one is if you've already separated and completed a full contract. So that is for members who have served after September 11th, 2001. But there's also a possibility that members can transfer that benefit to their dependents while they're still serving. It cannot be transferred after they've separated from service. So know that, like, if you want to transfer that benefit to your dependents, you have to do it while you're before you separate. The post 9/11 GI Bill can cover your tuition and fees up to the VA's cap, which is about $29,000 a year. And with that, you get a monthly housing allowance based on the zip code of where your school is located, not where you live, and a book stipend. Another important thing to think about when you're doing Chapter 33 post 9/11 is if you come out, there's going to be different ratings based on if you were active reserve and the time you served. But if you come out with 100% coverage of GI Bill, you're also eligible for the Yellow Ribbon program. And many schools offer that, which is where they have an agreement with the VA that anything over the tuition costs over 29,000, the school will split the difference. The school will pay half of that and the VA pays half of that, and the veteran can attend at no cost to them. And then there's additional entitlements for this benefit. You might be eligible for the Edith North STEM Scholarship. There's a whole list of majors online that can get an extension after they've already exhausted this benefit. And most recently, there's the Rudsill decision, and that's for veterans who might have been eligible for the Montgomery GI Bill and also the post 9/11 bill. And the VA has been pretty good about notifying them, but you can also go online to find more information. So that's Chapter 33, the most common one. The next most common one is Chapter 31, the Veteran Readiness and Employment, or VRNE. It used to be called VOC Rehab, so you might have heard it be called that. And that benefit is for veterans with a service-connected disability. It's important to note that is it's a employment benefit, not an education benefit. So Chapter 33 you can go and use to pursue a degree. Chapter 31, you really have to be able to tie that degree into the pursuit of a career. So if you want to go be a nurse, you can't go into a career in nursing without at least a bachelor's in nursing. So the VA, if you have a service-connected disability, it's a different application process that you can access through va.gov. And then there's some additional paperwork you have to do, but that's about making you employable for careers moving forward. And the Chapter 31 covers 100% of your tuition and fees. And then they also give you career and employment support as well as your monthly housing stipend. And then another benefit at the federal level is the Chapter 35 Survivors and Dependents Education Assistant. That program is for the children or spouse of a veteran who has died, is captured or missing, or is permanently and totally disabled due to service-connected disability. And that's a little different that the student can apply for, and then the VA will issue a monthly education stipend, and that's based on whether they're full-time, part-time, half-time, and that money can be used to cover the cost of college, vocational training, or other approved education programs. And then one last one I want to mention is the Iraq and Afghanistan Service Grant, and you might qualify if you're an OIF or OEF veteran, or if the parent who was an OEF, sorry, if their parent was or guardian died as a result of their service in Iraq or Afghanistan after 9/11, and you don't meet the eligibilities for a federal Pell Grant. So to use all these benefits at the federal level, you don't need to apply for through FAFSA. You have to apply through va.gov. But I still really recommend always doing the FAFSA because there might be other benefits that you're eligible for that can supplement other expenses you have with your education.
Wonderful. And the next question is about New York State program. What financial aid program does New York State offer for veteran and their dependent? And how can someone check their eligibility?
So New York State really has done a terrific job with expanding the benefits that they offer to veterans and their family members. So the first step would really be apply through the FAFSA. And after you complete your FAFSA, if you're a New York State resident, it will then prompt you of saying, do you want to go complete your New York State application? And you should always do that because in general, there's great benefits for New York State, but then when you are applying, there are some things that you might additionally be eligible for. So one of them is the New York State Veterans Tuition Award, and that can cover, and you can, if your GI Bill is not covering the entire cost of your education, you can use that. But also, if you've exhausted your GI Bill or you're not eligible for GI Bill, it's definitely worth applying because that can cover the cost of your tuition at the SUNY rate. There's also a military residency waiver that if you are from out of state, New York State will honor in-state tuition rates for military and veterans. There's also most recently the Merit Scholarship, which offers assistance to children, spouses, and other dependents um, who of veterans who died or were severely injured in service. And then there's the Regents Award for children of deceased or disabled veterans. All of that is on the New York State HESC website, but and you'll find out if you're eligible as you complete that application.
And just remember that to apply for those programs, there's a supplemental application that must be completed. So, um, and as we continue, what are some additional steps for veteran? So after completing the FAFSA, are there any specific step veteran and their family should take when applying for financial aid at the college level? And what resources are available to help veteran navigate the financial aid process?
So sure, after you complete the FAFSA, you be sure to log in. Sometimes you might have thought you clicked all the boxes and you might have missed a box or something. So the website's pretty good about once you log in, it might tell you that you have some outstanding areas that you need to review or sign. So always check it and really make sure everything's complete. And then also check with your school's admissions or financial aid portal to see where you are in the process and make sure everything you've submitted up to date. A lot of times students will say, oh, I did the FAFSA, but they actually did last year's FAFSA and they might not realize whether they're transferring to the school or they needed to do it again. So it's just good to keep checking in with your school, make sure everything's up to date. You don't want to wait till the last minute and then find out the bill is due and then it takes a little longer for this paperwork. So just get ahead of it and get it done. Um, and then, it just makes sure the whole process works for you smoothly.
Yeah, and for the Fast on Tap, this application must be completed every year. So just, don't think that it's only a one time, and for Fast on Tap, every year you must complete the application in order for you to continue receiving additional benefit. But as we move on now, support resources. What would you say are some resources that are available to assist veteran and their dependent or their family in navigating the financial aid process?
Sure. So if you've already done your paperwork at the federal level and your paperwork at the state level, there should be some really great resources available to you at the schools that you're looking at. So always keep the doors and the lines of communication open with your school's financial aid officer. They are absolute subject matter experts and they can really look at your applications and make sure everything is moving ahead for you. But if you are military connected, whether you're actively serving, you're a veteran, or you're a military dependent, make contact with your school's VA school certifying official. That's usually the point of contact on each campus who's able to process the benefits. So if you're using any of the benefits I discussed, or if you're still in the military and you're using your tuition assistance, usually that's the person that will be able to help guide you, and they can also help you if you're saying, okay, my tuition assistance can pay X but my balance is Y. They might be aware of some additional steps you can take to help cover your balance. And then also at the schools, some schools, the certifying official is also their veteran support and military support person. And in schools like mine, we're two separate people, but we work really closely. So I encourage our students to work really closely with our certifying official, but also if you can find someone like myself who's there to serve as the point of contact for our military affiliated students. There's at a lot of schools, there's someone like me who's really there to help guide you through the admissions process, through the financial aid process, through enrollment, and they're just great person that can help guide you every step of the way for any of those questions or challenges you might have.
So, active duty and education benefits. Can you discuss the educational benefits available for active duty service member? and their immediate family, and how can this benefit help funding um, the cost of attending college
Sure,
or
I will.
any other post-secondary education, right? Because we have also for vocational or trade.
Yes. And that's important to mention is that really it's all these benefits are really there to help you. So if college isn't right for you, vocational school or trade school might be available. You just want to make sure that you check with the school before you enroll that they are able to process your education benefits because there is a certification process that every school has to go through with the VA to be able to use GI Bill. But there are a lot of great opportunities for trade and vocational schools as well. For your military education benefits. So if you're still serving and you're either active, reserve, guard, there's still some great benefits available for you. And what that looks like, I'm just going to give a general overview because each branch of service has their own. But essentially, it will be called tuition assistance. Each one of them calls it something a little bit more niche to their branch. But and it might also, you might have something in your contract that the military is willing to pay for. So it's good to be aware of what is in your contract. But for the tuition assistance, usually you can get reimbursed for up to $250 per credit. And that's paperwork that you would have to do within your unit. And then after you complete the paperwork within your unit and get it signed by your chain of command, you can bring it to the school's certifying official who also processes the VA benefits. And they'll be able to process on their end. And then usually the military will pay you directly as a reimbursement for the classes that you're taking.
Wonderful. So I think, in the financial aid processing, there's so many important information and deadlines. It's one of those key factor to really have in mind when you are applying. What are some key deadline that veteran and their family should be aware of when applying for financial aid?
Sure. So one of the big ones coming up is June 30th. We're about to close an academic year and a fiscal year. So if you're currently in school and you have not done the 25-26 applications, this is the moment to get it done. Really don't wait. But even right now, if you're not in school and you're thinking about going to school, whether you're using your federal VA education benefits, your state benefits, your military benefits, do yourself a favor right now and get that FAFSA application done and the New York State portion that follows, because it's a lot of students are filing right now, and it does take a while for that to work through the system. So, and then it is just a whole process where that information has to go back to the school, and then you can find out what you're eligible for. So do it now, and you'll just do yourself a favor by getting it done. Even if you're not sure, it doesn't make you committed into using it. It just gives you that information so you know what you're eligible for.
Yes, and typically FAFSA and TAP are available October 1st every year. There has been some changes to the FAFSA, but we're hopeful that October 1st will continue to be the date that the application is available for student as well as TAP. And just really keeping yourself organized because as I mentioned, there are supplemental application for other program that we administer. Um, Finding out when those application will be available to you, and I can tell you about the Excelsior Scholarship typically opens up uh, in May for current high school senior who are going to be applying for financial aid. But just make sure that you are aware when the application that you need to be completing is available for you. So we typically open it up on May, but also we open the Excelsior in December as well for those students who might be studying college in the spring semester. So just making sure that you organize yourself and find out what are some of the programs that you are interested in applying? When should you be applying for them? And then, just be aware of when the application will open up and when it will close. Because certain programs, they have a very short window that allow you to apply. And then if you miss the deadline, then you're going to be out of luck until the following year. So it's important for you guys to just be organized, because as we had been discussing, there's so many programs, right? And they each have different requirements. They probably open at different time during the year. So it's just important for you guys to keep that, information handy, so that you don't lose the opportunity to apply for a program that you are eligible to receive. And then my next question is, you know, as we are getting wrapping up the discussion, what advice would you give to a veteran or who is starting the process and feeling a little overwhelmed?
So yeah, I mean, I think it is a daunting process. And I think especially if you come out of the military, you are used to doing paperwork and lots of paperwork that just seems overwhelming. And, don't be overwhelmed by the FAFSA and applying for your education benefits. These are things that you earned. And so you want to be able to access them. Um, but don't let that don't be afraid to ask for help. There are a lot of people out there willing to walk you through the process. So again, if you find someone like me at whatever school you're going to, generally they're there to help you. But also don't get discouraged. Sometimes the students I work with, they might go online and apply for military education benefits, and it might not come back with the rating they were hoping for, or it's not moving as quickly. Keep pursuing it, because these are education benefits that you earned with your service. And so if you do have any challenges, there are so many people available, whether it's at the state level with the New York State Department of Veterans Services. They have a whole fleet of people who are there, or at the school level, who are able to help you access those benefits. But then also there's additional scholarships and funding options out there. So if those benefits aren't able to cover all your costs, you can look into other aid at the schools you're applying to, or organizations like the American Legion, the VFW, Student Veterans of America. Each branch of service also has something like the Army Emergency Relief Fund. There's a ton of scholarships and grants out there to help make college more affordable. So don't feel like you need to take that cost on yourself. Try to exhaust all the resources and help yourself with accessing education.
Yeah, and always asking question, if you are confused about some of the benefit, just make sure that you get connected. And I'm just sharing my screen because I just wanted take you to our website, where you will be able to find information about the military services. So basically you will go to Inform for and then you will click on the military and veteran, and as Diana was talking about, the some of the benefit that we have are here listed. So you could just go to more information, and it will just provide you information about, the eligibility criteria, the deadlines. This application open year round, but then TAP usually opens up October 1st, and then the deadline is until June 30th of the following year. So you have like about 18 months in order for you to apply for the TAP. But in order for you to apply for this program, the student also have to complete FAFSA and TAP. So it's just important for you guys to just start your research and finding out what are the benefits that you are interested in applying. And I will just share this information with you guys, so that you can definitely visit the website and see all the program that we were discussing earlier. And now we're gonna open it up for Q&A. I see that we have a few Q&A questions. So let me just drop this in the chat. And we can then start answering some of those. Okay, so I think that was the question that I responded before we started the discussion. Is there any additional question that you might have? So we will give it a few more second. I'm gonna check the chat. Um, Diana, and if you don't mind just adding some of those additional resources that you mentioned in the chat. Um, I will tell you that, you know, when we do presentation about the different sources of financial aid, uh, we always talk and encourage family to really start planning, start your research early and planning for you know, the different benefit that you might be eligible to apply, and just creating either a spreadsheet or a notebook where you start putting all that information, the different program that you're interested in applying, and you know, what are the eligibility criteria, because it's so important. The more organized that you are, I think you know, the more opportunity that you're gonna be able to find, and the more financial aid that you get, the less loan that you might need to take in order to cover costs. So we also do a lot of events, not only panel discussion, but also financial aid process. We also assist um, student with completing their FAFSA and TAP. So we do completion event. You will have to register for those, but it's just important for you to know that there's so many you know, assistance out there for you, not only through the colleges, you know, the school that you are interested in attending, or, but you know, the community in general, but also us. And we help you. You don't have to just be applying for the first time. We can help you completing those applications throughout your college career. And I think there were additional, Tatiana just added those, please take advantage. And then just want to see if there's any question that you guys might have. This is a time for you guys to take advantage of, you know, the
Yeah, Maria,
SBA.
if I can add for the attendee who mentioned or asked the question about for those who are actively serving, and I would say, you know, if really, you know, it's so unique to your contract, your branch of service, and what is eligible. But if you hear other members in your unit who are attending school, don't be afraid to ask them, how did you do that? Because there's so many times that I get student veterans who they've separated from service and they could have maybe taken a few classes before they even separated and saved their GI Bill eligibility. And so then they kind of look back on their time while they were serving and they were saying, like, you know, I could have taken an extra class. I could have gotten reimbursed. So, you know, even if you can't go full time, if anything that you do towards chipping away at those classes and just the core classes, or if you already know what you're going to major at, it really helps you minimize the amount of time that you're going to be in college after you separate, but then also extends your benefits that maybe you can do, you know, a trade and certification in a bachelor's or a bachelor's and a master's. You can really extend that by going to school while you're still in service and taking advantage of those benefits.
Wonderful. And as we mentioned initially, you know, we know that it can be a little overwhelming, because not only will you be applying for financial aid from different sources, but you will also be doing the admission application. So you don't have to do it alone. So just stay connected with us, and um, please make sure that you take advantage of some of those benefit. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to share my screen one more time.
I think you're still sharing it.
Oh, I am. Okay, so
Yes.
let me stop sharing that, and or let me just change the window. Then I'm trying to go back to a presentation where I can give you you know, some additional information about um how to connect with us and um making sure that you stayed connected. So I hope that you can still see this. Um and I'm gonna go to the current page. So if you guys want, you know, you can sign up for um the events page. We have an email address that you can send your question. Typically it takes between 1 to 3 business days for someone to get back to you. And then I don't know, on my side it says that I'm sharing, I'm not sharing, so I don't know. Can you guys see it?
I can see the Veteran Tuition Award tab on your, you have like your web browser, and I can see Veterans Tuition Award.
All right, so I think I need to stop sharing to share a new screen. All right, so
And while you do that, I'm going to throw one more link in the chat. And this last one is the one I mentioned, Chapter 35, which is for the dependents. And again, you can apply for that, and New York State has benefits for dependents. So it's just another way to make sure you're accessing all the benefits you're eligible for to make your education more affordable.
perfect. And this is what I wanted to share before. So basically, you know, you can visit the website for events, but you can also email us if you have any question after tonight. And then you can also sign up for you know, for text. And basically what we send you is information about the events. We also you know, try to provide you with information about changes that might be coming. And then you can follow us on social media. We are trying to really provide all this information so that we can get students to attend the event that we're facilitating. So please, we also do a regular presentation about the financial aid process. If anyone would like to join us, typically Wednesdays and Thursday at 6 p.m. You don't have to register for those. But if you need assistance in you know, providing or completing the application, just make sure that you join some of those completion event, and we will be happy to really assist you in making sure that that we help you and or connect you with um someone that can help you. And I think we have one more question. People should know that the Celsius Scholarship is for SUNY College University, and the HESC Tuition Scholarship is for private colleges, university in New York State. So yeah, so the Celsius basically a program. It's a very popular program for students who are attending SUNY or CUNY. And one of the important aspect of that program is that I encourage family to apply for all the free money first, but always know what are the requirements, because not only does that program has requirement while you're applying, but after you are in college as well. So first is for family earning 125,000 or less. The student must be taking 30 credit per year, and then after they graduate, they must stay in New York for the same amount of year that their work was given. So if it was a 4 year, you know, that they received that program, then we're expecting the student to stay in New York for 4 years. If they're working, to work in New York. Okay? And then the enhanced tuition award is the same requirements. The only difference is that it's for private colleges who are participating in the program. Not every private college participates, so just make sure that you do your research and see if any of the colleges that you're interested in attending that are private, if they're part of that program. So Carrie, thank you for that. And like we didn't go into a lot of the program that we administer, but please feel free to join one of those presentation because we do discuss a lot of the more popular program that we administer with a lot of more detail. So yes, that's totally correct, Carrie. So if let's say that the student does not meet the residency requirement after graduating, they can ask for a postponement to meet that requirement. But eventually they will have to come back to New York to meet that requirement. If not, it will turn into a loan, a 10-year loan. So free of interest. So if we gave you $10,000, then you're gonna have 10 years to pay that off. But then there's the other program where it does have an interest rate if you don't meet the residency requirement after, such as the STEM. So that's why it's so important for you guys to just apply for all the free money, but always find out what you have to do in order for you to be eligible to apply. And then what should I be doing in order for me to continue to be eligible? Because if you are applying for the Excelsior and the income bracket is 125,000, and if the family income goes up, you're not going to be eligible to reapply. So just be aware what are the requirements, and while you are applying, while you are in college, and then after you graduate. And I'm just gonna see one last time if we have any. I don't see any Q&A, so I think I want to thank everyone from joining. And Diana, if you have any final word before we end this discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it enough. Just ask for help. Do the FAFSA. Don't leave these benefits. You've earned them. Make sure you take advantage of them. These are so important that you use them. So just go ahead, apply through va.gov, apply through FAFSA, apply through TAP, get everything that you're eligible for.
Wonderful. So thank you, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed your evening, and we hope to see you in some of our future events. Please feel free to sign up for those for texts that we will send you about all the events that are coming up. And thank you so much.